correct po yung sinabi ninyo. For data science to truly prosper, dapat combination siya ng lahat ng discipline.
Yes,
so hindi
yes.
yan. Yung problema pag nag-aaway ang stat, com sci, physics, o kaya yung business, hindi magwo-work po yan. Dapat magkakasama lahat.
Ang nakakatuwa doon, puro taga-UP Diliman yung mga nag-aaway. But anyway, ano lang yan. Biro lang yan.
Ouch.
Last question, Dr. Chris, for specifically for you. I've got some messages kanina dito. Kailan ba talaga ilalabas yung final copy nung roadmap?
Actually po, I think available na po yan sa DTI. You can just request the DTI.
No, it's not yet there. It's not yet there.
Okay, then I will po. But this has been completed as early as March.
Yeah, I know.
Sige po. I will make sure, sabihin ko, kakusapin ko si Secmon at saka si na DTI based on your question. This inquiry, I'm surprised myself. I thought that it was released kasi lahat po ng mga okay po. Lahat po ng mga kasama natin na kinukonvince natin to put money on the National AI Center, they have a copy of this. I will ask them po to, at least those who attended this, etc., make sure na you will have that copy and hopefully
great.
ilagay na po nila sa DTI site.
Okay, thank you. My next question is actually to Dr. Wilson Tan. Okay, are there really that many opportunities, for researchers in the Philippines?
Sir, meron. I think that nag-chicken or the egg kasi yung problema natin when it comes to research and research capabilities sa Pilipinas.
Okay.
So for example, hindi ko na lang papangalanan yung isang company na lumapit sa UP, like sa EEE and sa computer science. Naghahanap daw, so multinational company siya, may presence siya sa Pilipinas, may Philippine office sila in BGC. Ang problema nila ngayon, they could easily hire developers, marunong mag-React, JS, etc. ganito, ganyan. Ang reklamo nila or ang pain point nila is wala raw silang mahanap ng mga tao na nag-develop ng bagong mga systems like new ideas and stuff like that. They're having freakishly difficult time competing against the Poland office or the Singapore office. So, ang kinatatakot nila ngayon, look, pag nagpatuloy ito na low output tayo compared to the other country offices, posibleng magsara tayo nito. Parang ganon.
Yes.
So, naka-chicken or the egg siya, sir. Parang you have to bootstrap at some point. Kumbaga parang, paano ba? They won't come here without enough researchers, without enough research capability.
True, very true.
Pero on the other hand, naintindihan ko naman yung question ng ibang mga bata. Before I commit myself to that, before I go down that career path, may pupuntahan ba ako? So ano siya, sir? Unfortunately,
I know.
Medyo chicken or the egg nga siya. So napansin ko, sir, medyo sensitive din dyan ang DOST, for example, or yung mga funding bodies natin na talagang hinihingi nila sa mga research projects na hindi lang basta technical yung output ninyo. Train people. Hinihingi po nila yung listahan na yan. How many master's students did you produce? How many undergrads were involved in this project? Minsan nga, tinatrack pa yun, sir. Nasaan na yung mga bata, nasaan na yung mga tao nyo ngayon or something.
Yeah.
But I am hopeful regarding the situation here in the country. At the end of the day, we have no choice but to be hopeful.
Yeah. And I think, having in my previous life as a private, in the private business, there's also a need for companies to actually also start investing. We should not just depend on PSHER, all the DOST-R and the councils. Okay. Although alam ko, ang taas din ng unutilized na research fund nila at the end of the year na hindi nagagamit. There are very, very few research proposals that are actually being received. So tama ka, chicken and egg
may pipeline problem tayo, sir. I mean, paano ba? Hindi ako medyo familiar sa side na yan. Feeling ko mas familiar kayo doon sa underutilization ng funding or lack of proposals.
Dati akong DOST, so alam ko.
But from the side of project leaders, sir, minsan mahirap mag-hire.
Yeah.
Mahirap mag-hire ng mga tao. Like may project na it's funded. You need to hire researchers. Minsan, there really is a war for talent out there. Ang problema mo kasi, so fine, may positions kami, ang kalaban mo, ang lalaki na rin ng offers, yung mga firms sa Ortigas. How would you convince your summa cum laude or your magna cum laude to work for you instead of working for this multinational company? So, there's that issue.
And that's actually the reason why our UPSITF, which is actually a foundation, okay, we have this annual Youth for Research Services Congress. Para maaga pa lang, even high school students, okay, we're already encouraging them to do research and present their research papers, okay? And we have the two winners with us this morning who actually presented, and we've seen the improvement of papers done by the kids from when we started I think 4 or 5 years ago, okay? And makikita nyo naman yung mga pinresent nila ngayon, ano? Okay. Going to let me now bring this question to us is to my friend Wilson Chua. Parang may nag-e-echo, ano?
Sa akin yun. Dahil yung daughter ko nagbukas ng TV niya.
Ganun ba?
We're working from home, so like, we're cramped together. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Sherman.
Okay. How should our youth actually look at data science as a problem-solving tool? Very few kids actually realizes that data science is mainly used for solving problems. All kinds of problems, actually.
Well, your question is actually the answer. Data science helps solve a lot of problems and has the potential to impact a large swath of the population. No? For example, yung kaninang demonstration nung game ni Mr. Michael Fernandez.
Yeah.
Maybe he wants to up his game. There's a company in Israel called deepdub.ai. I'm sure Dr. Monterola already knows about it. Given just 5 minutes of your voice, they can make your voice talk in Israeli, Spanish, French, Korean, Japanese, whatever. So this opens up content creators in the country, in the Philippines, to reach more market, right? Kasi right now, it's either Tagalog or English. But, the rest of the world also speaks French, Spanish, Mandarin, Japanese, and Korean. That's why the Koreans are making a killing right now in entertainment. Taas ng kamay yung mga nakapanood na ng Squid Game. Ay? Yan kami ni Doc. Hindi naman tayo. We don't understand Korean, but because of the subtitling, we're able to follow. Now imagine deep dub technology can now enable the character to speak fluently in that voice in another language. It opens up the market. So like ang point dito, do not fear technology or any disruption. Think ahead and see how the disruption might create opportunities.
True, very true. Yeah, thank you. Before I call on Ralph of the Asian Institute of Computer Studies. There's one thing that I actually missed kanina. You know what? Dati yung mga parating nananalo sa mga research papers ng mga bata are actually coming from the Ivy League schools of the Philippines. Okay. Now we have the last 2 years. We have, of course, Ralph here is from the Asian Institute of Computer Studies. Okay. Nung umpisa nga sabi ko saan yan? Okay. And the other winner is from the province, Bulacan State University, BSU. Okay. And natalo yung mga taga-Ateneo, UP Los Baños, karamihan, ang dami mga UP campuses doon from even Mindanao State University, YIT, actually they had entries na naging finalists. So we're actually seeing now research being adopted by a lot of schools, even in the provinces. And I would like to congratulate Ralph here, no? Hindi naman sa minamaliit ko yung eskwela nyo, but for really doing a splendid research paper. Now, question to you, Ralph. Saan mo dadalhin yung paper mong yan?
Morning, sir. I've talked to our research advisor, Professor Manuel Luis de los Santos, and sabi niya po sa akin, he has plans to either ask for government or DOST, QC government or DOST funding. But we have no update about that yet. So, and also our web application is actually undergoing improvement. So there are no concrete plans yet, but there are, our research advisor has some plans for it.
Okay. Alam mo ang gawin mo? Gawin niyo yung proposal niyo, padala mo sa akin, okay? Ako ang i-endorse ko kay Dr. Paringit ng Fisher. So let me know kung kailangan niyo ng tulong diyan.
Sir Mon, may question ako sa kanila.
Thank you, sir.
Doon sa paper niyo ba, when you were designing that, did you ever think of reaching out to radiologists as your advisor?
We have actually attempted to contact pulmonologists and radiologists, but the problem is it was actually written during the, I think, January to May, and at that time there's the radiologists and pulmonologists are actually very busy, so we weren't able to contact them. However, since we relied on dataset, open source dataset from Kaggle, and there's an accompanying documentation there which says that the dataset has already been compiled and organized and verified by doctors from China. So the x-rays that we gathered were actually from a pediatric hospital from China. And based on the documentation, it was already analyzed. So there's already analysis being done. So kumbaga sir, ang ginawa lang namin is we just applied machine learning because the data has already been organized and then applied machine learning principles and then
So
we're able
Rob,
to get that.
this goes to yung question ni Sir Mon. I think what Sir Mon is hinting at is ano yung go-to-market plans. And I can share with you the story of a large conglomerate from China that already had a similar technology. Hindi na-approve sa Pilipinas dahil hinatulan or the Radiology Society disapproved of its use. So clearly, sometimes it's not just the technology, it's who you know and who you can get to support your technology. So sana sa umpisa pa lang, you got the clear champion. Kasi at the end of the day, yan mga champion ang tutulong sa'yo. Yan. Just my 2 cents worth.
At hindi sila yung sisira sa'yo. Okay.
Instead of...
Yeah, that's true. And in fact, what I will suggest is you use the data from the Philippine Lung Center of the Philippines. May very defined na yung winner niyang competition na yun ng Kaggle. So pag sinerge nila, baka sabihin nila na why will I can get the software from the net anyway. But if you use the data customized to Philippine setting, and remember the structure of the lungs ng mga Pilipino sa iba, at hindi nila nagagamit siya sa Philippine Lung Center, naturally and automatic na i-approve yan ng radiologist kasi galing sa kanila yung halos lahat ng members doon eh. So
mas
you're
madali
right,
ang
no?
buy-in.
Ang kinukwento ni Wilson is yun nga, yung politics ng pagiging entrepreneur. Isa yan sa mga importante na matutunan natin as scientists at the end of the day.
Okay.
Thank you,
Let
sir.
me now throw a question to Dr. Rachel. Rachel, ito medyo controversial. Is, are Philippine technology jobs, was this dominated by men or women?
According to the data that I presented in my talk, sir, it's still dominated by men.
And why is that so? Karamihan naman na nagre-recruit mga babae.
Discriminating yung tanong.
Sir, maybe if you check the history of computing, it stemmed from engineering. So I would assume that since engineering is a male-dominated field, parang doon na nag-stem yun.
Okay. Although nung nag-umpisa ako in the IT industry, several decades back, kasi wala pang computer science noon, ni wala pang computer engineering. So iba-iba ang undergrad was his background namin. I'm actually chemistry, yung iba, paramihan ng mga kaklase ko were actually math, okay? But my batch in my first job were actually dominated by women. 17 of us, siguro mga 11 doon ng babae. But at the end of the boot camp, we had to go through an 18 months boot camp. At the end of the boot camp, okay, 6 kami natira, iisa lang ang babaeng naiiwan. So hindi ko rin maintindihan kung bakit.
Yeah. So retention is one of the issues, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
and the irony is iisa lang babaeng naiwan pero sa kanya pa kami kumukopya, but anyway, that's actually just a joke. So I missed your presentation. If you have, we need more kids to actually get into STEM, female kids, okay, and we need more females getting into the STEM in senior high, okay, and hopefully we get more females getting into STEM related programs when they get to college. Pero ano yan? Paano natin magagawa yun? How do we encourage yung mga babae to actually get into STEM?
Sir, it's a multifaceted answer to one question. So one would be awareness. Maybe our community is not really conscious of these issues. Case in point, I checked the program for today. I think I'm the only woman in the list of speakers and panelists. No, so sometimes ako when we organize events, minsan ang naiisip mo kaagad, si ganito, si ganito. Tapos in the end, pagtingin mo, teka, parang outnumbered yung women. Parang gano'n, So, merong certain, I don't know, kahit nga si Google Translate, may bias. So, we just have to be aware and conscious of the issues. I think that would be the first step.
Okay. Although you were not with us yesterday and in the first day, namin, karamihan ng mga panelists namin actually were females.
Okay.
That's
good to know.
Ngayon medyo na-overwhelm ka dahil ikaw lang ang babae.
And then Sermon, we need to also work with DepEd kasi the issues also stem from senior high school. Paano ba ini-introduce ang technology in general to our high school students? And then how do we provide the support so that the women would persist, ang tawag nila persist sa scientific sa mga literature. How do we help them to persist or keep the technology path? Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I think we've run out of time. Medyo may mga speakers yata, may mga presentations yata kanina nag-overshoot kanina. Let me now actually make a round of your parting words. Let me start with Dr. Wilson Tan. Our session today is on research as a career. So your parting words, Dr. Tan?
Yeah, sir. I guess ang message ko sa mga nakikinig natin ng mga estudyante, napakarami nila dito, would be after you graduate, wag natin isara yung sarili natin na I'm going to work for a company and then uutusan nila ako na mag-develop ng mga systems na ganito ganyan and then I'm going to deliver what they ask from me. Hindi lang ganun yung path na open sa kanila, especially if they study hard, especially if they get a good education. I mean, they could innovate, right? They could change the world. Di ba? Kumbaga parang the world is their oyster. So, open minds. I guess yun po yung message.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you, Dr. Tan. Dr. Chris?
Oh, okay. Maybe just to follow up on what Dr. Wilson said, no? Merong isang kwento ng tungkol sa mga ticks. Paano daw nila tinitrain ang mga ticks na may nakikita sila na paano nagsisynchronize ang pagtalon ng mga ticks, iba't ibang height. Interesting kung paano nila ginagawa yon. Ticks are very small creature, no? Nilalagay lang sila sa kahon na iba't iba ang size. And normally, ang nangyayari lamang kapag yung kahon mo is this height, hanggang doon lang yung tinatalunan mo. Yung boundary na yun yung nag-define minsan na nakikita natin. Growth mindset po. Yun ang ini-encourage ko sa lahat ng mga estudyante natin. Imagine ninyo na walang limit ang pwede ninyong maabot. Data science is naturally for research. It's an applied research. At nang nakita sa PISA, at ito yung hindi na-discuss, is tayo sa may pinakamababang score. Ang reason dun po, ang mga karamihan sa estudyante namin, nung inanalyze natin, ay mababa ang growth mindset. Sa lahat ng nakikinig po sa inyo ngayon, gusto kong sabihin sa inyo, and Ralph is a very good example of this, no? Tiningnan nila yung studies ng Ivy League sa US. Ang salary ng mga gumraduate sa Ivy League ay 10 times greater ng mga hindi sa Ivy Leagues. Pero interesting na nakita nila na may isang set ng mga grupo na kapareho ng sweldos ng Ivy League na estudyante na hindi Ivy League. Guess kung sino po itong mga individual na ito. Ito po yung mga individual na nag-apply sa Ivy League pero hindi tinanggap. Pero nandoon yung kanilang strength na gusto nilang pumunta doon, that we belong, that I feel that we belong here. So ito po yung challenge ko sa inyong lahat ngayon. Paniisipin po ninyo, believe in yourself, growth mindset, and that you belong, that you can do. And this is a global competition, especially this field that we are in.
Thank you, Dr. Chris. Yan yung presentation ko mamaya, 1 o'clock. But anyway.
Sige ha.
Dr. Rachel.
Sundan ko na sermon, yung sinabi ni Dr. Chris, as part of my talk earlier. Ang internal factor, yun ang mahirap talunin yun. Ano ka kaagad? By default, talo ka kaagad. Pagka yung nakinig ka sa mga negative thoughts and then negative mindset na hindi, kaya mo ba yan? No? Indecisiveness and things like that. Hindi lang for women, for men as well. So, I agree with Chris na yun ang unahin natin, no, yung internal factors or influencers.